You know how so many people give up on their New Year's resolutions so early? Well, not me. It's 2023 and I'm still only using branded versions of everyday objects. I'm only using Twinkies branded lip balm. I'm only checking the time with the Game Boy clock. And I'm only playing Crayola licensed scooter games. Dang it! How do we get to this point? Okay, we need to back up for a second. Crayola was founded by Edwin Benny and Harold Smith in 1885. At that time, it was called the Benny and Smith Company. They specialized in making carbon black chemicals for car tires, but into the 1900s they began making crayons. And around this time, Edwin Benny was quoted saying, "My goal for this company is for one day to get a scooter extreme sports video game based off of it." And they sure did. Crayola Scoot, and for the elders coming this spring, Crazy Art Mobility Scoot. Developed by Climax Studios in 2018, they've done a lot of licensed games over the years, but the game was published by Outright Games. Founded in 2016, their motto is, make licensed children's games that are incredibly overpriced so that kids will see them in the store and beg their parents for it. But I guess that's everyone's motto. Crayola Scoot seems to be one of their exceptions. Sure, Crayola is a popular brand, but it's not like there's any iconic characters or anything. They're crayons. And I guess they agreed or something, because in December of 2022, it was announced that the game would be delisted off of digital stores. On the final days of it being available on Steam, it was marked down to $2, and I was able to get it before it was delisted.
Unlike some game I know.
When this game came out, it earned its fame from players and reviewers for being a Splatoon knockoff, which I always thought was a bit extreme. This is a travesty! Splatoon invented colors! Nintendo, sue Crayola! Make sure they never make another crayon again! Man, Nintendo fans are wild. The thing about this game is, from what I've heard, it's actually good. You can tell by looking at it. I mean, a Crayola-themed scooter game. Was anyone really like, oh, finally, I've been waiting for someone to do this? That's like making a baseball game about Walmart. I just want to play this game now, so let's get right into Crayola Scoot. So we start by making our character and picking our height. Yes, and then we get to type in our name. You know, this kid dresses a lot like Steve did on Blue's Clues, so I'm gonna name him accordingly. We're then brought to a tutorial. Basically, you roll around on this scooter, surprise surprise, and you go off ramps and grind on rails and do tricks with the right control stick. And since I picked my color to be red, every time Steve falls it looks like the ground is filled with Heinz tomato ketchup. When you perform tricks anywhere in the game, paint of your color will be spread on the ground. That's basically the game's main mechanic. There's also a boost feature to keep a combo going and go faster, but it runs out fast and gets refilled by you riding over your paint. It took me a while to get good enough to pass the tutorial, but then we get sent to the hub world of Crayola Scoot, and we're told that our main objective in the game is to win the Crayola Color Cup, because we want to. And we're in dead last. And I think it's because Steve on the screen looks like a Cabbage Patch Kid. Then we're off to the first event of the game. Well, of course I'll play on hard mode. I mean, this is a kid's game. I don't think they're gonna put up much of a challenge. So now we begin! My first ever Crayola Scoot experience. I can't wait. Here we go. What the heck is happening? I got last in a kid's game. I think there's more reasons why Steve's not winning the tournament. I thought it was just bad, but after playing the opening stage over and over on normal mode, I realized something. This game is difficult. I thought that this game was made for kids who color outside of the lines, not scooter game masters. I've played some really easy kids games, and this is kinda nice. Once you finish a stage, you get points that up your rank on this graph. Once you fill the meter, you can challenge the next boss fight. You don't have to get first place to fill up the meter, so you can get through the game without being good at it, so kids could get pretty far into it. Every time you beat a boss, there's more stages to play and new items in the shop. There's cosmetics, which are cosmetics, but there's also new parts you can buy for your scooter. These increase your stats, but there's not really much of a difference when your stats change. Kind of a fun idea, but there's not much to it. You're able to select any stage you've unlocked to play. It's not very linear at all. You can beat the stage by playing the same stage over and over if you want to. But what's the variety in the stages? Well, they're spread across 3 worlds that have 3 different maps each. There's Crayola Color City, Enchanted Forest, and Alien Theme Park. You know, typical scooter locations. There's a variety of different game types, with the main one being Color Frenzy. This has you put up against 5 other players, and much like Turf War from the Splatoon series, you have to cover the floor with the most of your color to win. Of course, you can just go around doing tricks, but that won't get you anywhere usually. Instead, you have to hit these control points that will spread your color on its own. But of course, other people could take your control point and spread it their color. But you're not going to know when it happens. There's nothing that tells you if you lost your control point unless you go back there and see it for yourself. Now, if only there was some kind of map or some kind of visual that showed you what control points belong to who, that would make this game type a lot better. But they didn't do that. There's also a team version of this game, which is basically the same thing, but teams. I honestly think this works a lot better, but you don't play this variant as much as the standard one, so eh. Then there's the Splat Tag mode, which might just be my favorite. You have to avoid the chaser. If you get tagged by the chaser, then you become a chaser and you have to tag other people. But when you are a chaser, you spread green ink that will slow down the other riders, so as more people get tagged, it's harder to navigate through the map, making it easier for other people to catch you. It's actually pretty great. Trick Run is boring. You just have to make combos and do tricks to get a good score. There's nothing really interesting about it at all. And then there's Crayon Chase. You just grab 5 crayons to win. That's all there is. This one has some issues. When you're trying to get straight to the crayon, your scooter kind of gets in the way. Sometimes it's hard to get exactly where you want to be on this thing, and it's sort of infuriating. I'm still really good at this one, though. And that's all the different game modes. Wait, there's one more. The boss fights. These play after filling the meter with points. They're a lot like the Trick Run mode, but a bit better. You go back and forth setting a combo score and trying to break that score. If you're not able to break the score, you'll get a letter of the word scoot. Like the game Horse, the game will keep on going until either one of you completes the word. The player who completes the word will lose the game. You only get a couple seconds to make up a combo, but after the time has run out, you can keep on going until your combo ends. If you end up making multiple combos, the game will select the best score of them to be the set score. It's kind of hard to explain, but once you play it, it's really simple. The first few bosses are real pushovers, and once I get to the 6th boss, this robot guy, I thought that it would be the same way. But nope. He's a scooter master. He keeps doing these tricks, and I could have sworn that he got more points per trick. I spent about 40 minutes or so trying to beat this guy, and I think the only reason I beat him was just because he gave up. I'll never look at a crayon the same way again. At this point, I felt like giving up. I've seen everything that this game had to offer, unless the final boss was something incredible, which I extremely doubted. But I didn't want to be known as the person who quit playing Crayola Scoot. I want to be known as the person who needs to get a life. So I grinded through to the final rank of the game to fight this, person. I don't really know what this is. Most of the character designs of this game are just really not appealing to me. And it's the same exact battle as the robot again. It's even the same map. At this time, I mastered my hold the left stick diagonally in the top corner while frantically spinning around the control stick method to win this time. Doing this gets you a crazy amount of points, and Nev just can't keep up, and my goodness is it satisfying. It still took me about 20 minutes, but then it happens. Steve is crowned the Color Cup champion, and I gotta say, this is the best ending to a game I've reviewed all year. Wait, What do you mean there's another champion to fight? Whatever. The credits rolled, Steve's happy, I'm done. Do I really care that the final boss is against Tegan? The person who runs the store in the game? The person on the loading screens? There's also an arcade mode, which lets you select any character, either the bosses or any of the avatars you made, select a map, and a game mode. For some reason, most of the maps were locked, and I didn't know how to unlock them. It also didn't help that I didn't care. This is also the area where you can play local multiplayer, which brings up another issue. No online. Not at all. Not globally, not with friends. This is an offline-only game. I mean, if this was an online game, the servers would be long dead, so it's not that big a deal. But since this game was compared so much to Splatoon at launch, it's really weird to not see it here. But there is local multiplayer at least, and I could see this game actually being a lot of fun with other people around you. Hey, that's something Splatoon doesn't have. So that was Crayola Scoot. It's actually kind of alright, just strangely challenging. It's pretty fun once you get the hang of it, scooting around, grinding on rails, doing tricks. It's really satisfying. I mean, this game's nothing amazing. Crayola's never gonna blow your mind, but it really shouldn't have to. The fact that a scooter game about Crayola was this good is enough for me. But that's another thing. This game doesn't really have anything to do with Crayola, other than the color mechanic, and the fact that the game says Crayola in the title. But if that's enough to make a Crayola game, then I introduce to you Crayola of Duty. Now, this wasn't Crayola's only game. There were some others released in the Wii era. Crayola Colorful Journey for the Wii, and Crayola Treasure Adventures for the DS. The Wii one was made by Studio Black Games, who I could not find much information on. According to Moby Games, they only made this one game. The DS one was developed by Firebrand Games, who made SpongeBob's Pudding Bash. However, both of the games were published by Crave Entertainment. They published the Bible game. They also published... Oh no, this is Justified. I mean, we've got time. Why wouldn't I want to talk about Razor Freestyle Scooter? Oh yeah, the New Year's resolution. This is the one exception, I swear. Oh my, what a box art. They didn't have any of the art from the game, or characters, or anything. They just had this kid, who doesn't know if his scooter or his skull is gonna hit the ground first. This released on the PS1 in 2000. It also released on the Dreamcast, so why am I not playing that version? Because I got the wrong version of the game and I just don't care. This is all pretty confusing, so luckily there's an introduction scene to explain everything. It's really very well animated, and anyway, this giant robot kidnaps these children. I'm sorry, my friends. Right, I've never ever spoken to this girl before. Anyway, we gotta save them by scooting. You know, as you do. At least this brand actually makes sense this time. That's because Razor is, well, a scooter manufacturer. They make scooters, not crayons. So surely these people will be the ones I trust the most to make a scooter game. We can choose from only 2 characters to start from. Chad, Amy, oh man, where's Steve? We only have 1 map to pick from to start too. Man, Razor Freestyle Scooter's really giving us some freedom of choice here. And, oh dear. So you move with the D-pad, despite this game being released 3 years after the DualShock was released. Or maybe I was just doing something wrong. But from what I can tell, this is D-pad only. Which isn't a terrible thing, but coming right off of Crayola Scoot, it took me a second to get used to it. But as for the game itself, I just didn't like this. I can't tell if it was because I didn't care to put in the time to understand it, or just because it's a bad game, but I think it's the latter. Functionally, it works. You can do tricks, and they give you points, but this time there's no other opponents. You're just plopped into the stage all by yourself with no sign of human life in sight. And that includes your character. This makes Razor Freestyle Scooter a much more traditional skateboarding game, except this isn't a skateboarding game, this is a scooter game. So yeah, I guess the most of the reason that I'm bad at this is because I've never played a skateboarding game, except for that one minigame in Mario and Sonic. So I don't really have anything to compare this to, except Mario. And in that case, I have no idea where Yoshi is. This game is just really simple. You can tell by how many times I fell down. You press the buttons to do the tricks. There's a whole menu of tricks, some changing depending on what character you are, but it really doesn't matter what tricks you do, just as long as you get the points to make combos. And if you get a real good combo, you'll get 10 extra seconds added to the clock. Oh joy! That's exactly what I wanted to do. Play this game more. Okay, if you'll be a good inmate in prison and not kill anybody, we'll promise to add 10 more years to your sentence. Now this is actually pretty helpful when you're trying to complete this game's tasks. Each stage has a bunch of chores for you to do. They're basically all the same across each of them. Get an amount of points, pull a big combo, earn 100 bonus seconds, and get all the wheels that are spread across the stage. You only need to beat the first one to unlock the next stage. For this task, the first stage was really easy, and for the other ones, I just found a pool and had fun. Well, fun might be pushing it. And I advanced to another map, and then the end. There's only 3 levels in this entire game. The first stage is just a generic scooter park, the next one's a schoolyard, and the third one sees these children scooting across a clock tower and across buildings. Bit much if you ask me. Oh yeah, they do actually fall off of these buildings, by the way. Seems a bit unsafe, but it gets worse when you realize these kids aren't wearing the proper safety gear. This is not safe at all. Crayola knew what was up. Don't worry though, there's a big warning at the start saying not to do this. Well, that makes everything okay then. Anyway, if you beat all 3 of one mission type in every stage, you'll unlock a bonus challenge. Let's say you collect all the wheels in the first stage, the second stage, and the third stage. And since this is the 6th task on the list, you'll unlock the 6th challenge stage to play. These aren't a replacement for more stages. They're really small and just have you collect all the wheels in the level. Not much reason to replay these unless you want to go for a better time. The only reason you will be playing this is for the bonus characters you'll unlock. After beating one, you'll unlock a new character. I only bother to do the first 2. After beating the first stage, you unlock Daryl, and he is so excited about it. I don't really understand the screen after you complete a stage. Why is the robot just handing him over to us? Why does he look so happy? Does he just get a thrill out of kidnapping these kids and making them skate on dangerous courses? What kind of disgusting robot is this? Well, the same kind that kidnaps children. The other one I played is the exact same stage, but just slightly different. And then we unlock Hector. And I did not want to play this game any longer. We saved Daryl, that's really the only person I care about. I mean, it's not like it's a long game, you can beat it in under 30 minutes if you know what you're doing. But I don't. But luckily, there's a cheat code. Right, down, right, left, right, up, right on the pause screen will unlock everything in the game. But then it proceeds to make fun of you. Oh, you're making fun of me now, are you? So luckily, we'll be able to see all of the characters. There's Brittany, she's boring. Tiki Man! What? Tito Ortiz. Okay, this is a special one. That's because this is a real person. He's a wrestler guy, not a scooter guy. So it's like putting Michael Jordan in a t-ball game. I guess there aren't very many pro scooters out there, so fine, let's just put in a guy who beats up people. Then there's Chippy. He's a sock monkey guy. His menu art is weird enough, but once you actually get into the game, his model makes him look way too humanoid, and it's just disgusting. But wait, there's one last character. At the end of the game, the robot guy gets shrunk by a nearby shrink ray in the sky, and he gives just a great excuse for all of this. He says, "Being big made me crazy. Let's scoot." And you unlock him as a playable character. So we all learned a valuable lesson here. People who are tall are kidnappers. Always. There's some other modes. Training! It's the same thing. Battle! It's the same thing, but when you're done, you swap controllers with another player. Options? That tears it. I need to find out who made this game. Who is responsible for this?
I knew the bunny was behind this!
So, why are you getting a haircut in a rabbit outfit? is for Scooter game. I don't like Razor Freestyle Scooter. I mean, it functions, but there are so many other extreme sports and skateboarding games on the PS1 alone that there's no reason to play it. There's also a Game Boy Color and Advance version that are, of course, completely different games. And there's a sequel on the PS1 called Razor Racing. I have no desire to play this game. So in conclusion, Crayola Scoot's pretty alright, Razor Freestyle Scooter you should ignore, and I didn't even bother to talk about these games. These two are just very, very basic kids games that you would expect to be released on these platforms. You know, those kinds of games that insult your intelligence. They're aimed for an incredibly young audience, and this is for an incredibly young audience +1. Funnily enough, these are technically better Crayola games than Scoot was. That's because they're about, you know, drawing. I mean, Crayola Scoot is always going to be the better game of these, but it really just feels like they made a Scooter game with colors and added Crayola to it. I'd say that if this seems like something you'd like, you should go get this game, but as stated earlier, you shouldn't start looking around digital stores. Of course, this game is still being sold in plenty of used game stores and for really cheap, but, I mean, are you really going to let anyone know that you're buying this? That could go on your permanent record. Well, we've been on a wild ride. We've had some highs, some lows. That's about it. There were some frustrations along the pathway, but now that we're done, I'm kinda sad that it's over. I tried wiping my face off, but I forgot I had the Elmer's Glue branded tissues.